talk about some of those impacts on the organization and board, throughout this.
But I feel like what this organization has adopted at this point is a really effective tool. The strategic plan shows up at meetings being discussed on a regular basis. It's very accessible. Part of that, I think, is, that there's been attention paid. And so I think kind of the assessment process kind of keeps that at the front a little bit and keeps asking that question, where are we at with that? And then leadership has really supported that. I do think that there's been some payoff in that area. One of the things that I liked about the assessment process itself is that it brought up a whole string of ideas for the board to be paying attention to, how are you doing in this area and that area and this area? And in a way, I think it primed the pump for the board to begin to look a little more holistically across some of those things and think about, okay, so how are we looking at orientation and what does that mean for us and how do we address that, as well as a number of other things. I always think, and again, we'd have to go back and look at the exact timing, but I think the committee structure that Bill, worked really hard to put in place, I think that Bill was influenced by kind of this process that we went through a little bit and began to really think a lot more strategically about, okay, so what do we do with this committee structure to get people organized to do the work? So that was rambling a little bit. Maybe.
No, those are because, committees are a big issue that often surfaces in these assessments, and, are they as effective as they could be?
Well, one of the things with the strategic plan and the strategic planning process, which came out of this, was that obviously it's not just something you do and put on the shelf for 5 years and do another 5-year plan. I've seen more active revision and turning back to that strategic plan, not just to tell us what we want to do, but also to assign specific roles of those committees. So, when I was chair of the program committee, I knew that I was tasked with certain things on the strategic plan. And so I better keep my eye on those, and that those things might change as we went through, different evaluation processes, working with the executive director and the board. But it was something I had as a guide, and that affected other committees as well.
Great. So greater connection of governance through these committees. Excellent example.
With a planning process that came out of the board assessment, but also in a board planning process in conjunction with senior staff.